Hello, Australian FMCG companies. My name is Aaron, and this is Wattle Labs. Wattle Labs has created a large behavioural model of the Australian population. So we cover all 28 million Australians. Our model has 60 attributes. We make 1 billion predictions, and we have been independently verified to be 92% accurate. As a consequence of our behavioural model, we can then optimise your sales network. So we can look at how people and their locations interact with your stores. We can optimize your catchment areas. We can optimize your store layouts, merchandising, position of different items within your store. We can do things like dynamic campaigns. So instead of sending out a campaign to 1 million people, we can do things like sending it out to a small panel, 1,000 people. We can look at the responses. We can then psychologically profile the behavioral drivers that cause people to interact with that campaign. And then we send it out to 1 million people that we know already are predisposed into interacting with your campaign before we've even sent it out. We can do the same type of behavioral profiling on your apps and your e-commerce stores and things like that, so that they're psychologically amenable to the person who's looking at it, rather than just presenting same website to all people. We can also provide a new revenue model for Australian retailers. So currently, Mastercard provides a data product which is consumer sentiment and behaviours of the Australian population. But FMCG companies, on the other hand, can provide really accurate line item data. Australian retailers, using Wattle Labs technology, can provide better insights than you're currently purchasing. And it's going to be of a lot better granularity and resolution, give much better insights, and provide Australian retailers better intelligence on what the Australian population wants. But finally, we can enable co-marketing and brand partnerships without sharing data. It probably comes up all the time. Telstra wants to sell phones to the everyday rewards consumers. The way this was typically done is by putting all the data together and then hoping that a bunch of data scientists can find some propensity model to figure out which everyday rewards customer should be exposed to a Galaxy ad or an iPhone ad. As a consequence of using behavioural and psychological profiling of customers, we can enable Telstra to sell phones to everyday rewards customers without exposing sales data or PII data. And we can provide a much better recommendation model and obviously higher sales without ever exposing the shareholders and customers and corporations to risk. So it's really cool stuff. The insights are much, much better than old prediction models, which basically use 1990s technology. This is machine learning. This is cutting edge sales and marketing. So finally, I just want to ask, everyone in FMCG, indeed all retail in Australia, knows these three offers. So we have offer number one, which is 2 for 1. We have offer number 2, which is 50% off. And we have offer number 3, which is buy one, get one free. The effect of these three offers is the same. People get something half price. The question I have for every single retailer in Australia is, why do people prefer each offer type? What are the psychological and behavioural drivers that are causing people to prefer a 2 for 1 versus a 50% offer? Question number 2 is, if I picked a random customer, say out of the Everyday Rewards program, can you predict which offer type would be most effective? And if you can't do that, you're necessarily compelled to look at ways to enable Australian families to avail themselves of these opportunities in the best seamless, frictionless way possible. And I would say you're really compelled to ask us to look at your customers and to do the analysis. Let's figure out why people click buttons, and let's figure out what is really causing people to want John West tuna versus green seas. Let's really do the work. And by doing all that, the end result is we get a better customer experience, you get more sales, and it's less costs. That's all. I'll do a quick demo. So the question is, where should you put a store? We've color coded it so green means go and red means no. So there's more of an opportunity. And I'll just make sure I'm looking at market opportunity. Yeah, we're looking at market opportunities in the Australian market. There's more opportunities in Melbourne because it's a bigger green bit. No, I'm not a Melbourne person, so forgive me. So if you are Woolworths, your greatest market opportunities are Craigieburn, St Albans, and Hooper's Crossing, Werribee. Let's just focus in on these. In this little splattering, Woolworths, you should most likely, to make the more money, revenue, if EBIT profit is a thing. Yeah, here we go. You should be really, really focused on putting a store in Manor Lakes down here. Either Manor Lakes or out here or possibly in between. But if you were to put a store here, we can predict your catchment area. We can predict the full psychological and behavioral model of people shopping at the stores and therefore which products you should put in the stores. And we can also cruise down and we can say at this new store, we predict the catchment area. So that's that colouring in here. We predict you're going to have a catchment area of that store of 7,684 people. It's 100% new traffic at that store. It's going to provide around $46 million gross revenue with an EBIT profit of $2.1 million. It's also going to cannibalize your Woolworths Wyndham Vale stores foot traffic by around 15%. It's going to cannibalize your Werribee Central stores foot traffic by around 2.25%. But overall, when you have this new store, if you sum up all the pluses and the minuses, we predict a net increase in revenue of $21 million and a net EBIT profit of $982,000 if you were to put a store in this location. So this is a network optimization. Anyway, that's all I want to say. Hope you have a really great day and thank you very much.